think we are ready to get started. So I wanted to first welcome everybody to the CTA Bus Operator Virtual Career Fair. Thank you for joining us over your lunch hour. We are going to spend a little bit of time today talking about CTA, talking about the bus operator position, our hiring process, and then speaking with one of our colleagues in the bus operations department about what it's like to be there on a day-to-day basis. There will be time for Q&A at the end, so we do encourage you all to submit any questions you have about the bus operator role. And you can do that by hitting the Q&A button at the bottom of your computer screen or your mobile device. You can type your question in there and we will try to get to as many of those as possible. A quick note on that, you are not going to see that question pop up on the screen for everybody else to see. We do have our settings turned on so that those are just private. They just come into us as panelists because again, we just want to be answering the ones that are applicable to the most people. So if you do have a question about an application you've already submitted or a question that's more personal to your situation, we will give you additional information at the end, an email address that you can contact to get those additional questions answered. But please do feel free to utilize that Q&A button. We do want to know the questions that you're curious about. So before we get started, we'll go ahead and do some introductions of the panelists that are here. Again, my name is Lindsay Estupiñan. I'm the manager for outreach and engagement in the Human Resources Department, and I'll be your host for today. I'm going to have my colleagues introduce themselves, starting with Jamie. Go ahead and tell us who you are.
All right, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for participating in the the virtual job fair today. See where my head is at, interviews already. My name is Jamie Wallace. I am one of the HR recruiters for the bus operator position. It's a pleasure having you all here with us this afternoon.
Thanks, Jamie. Justin, can you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us again. My name is Justin Ramos. I am the current manager over Talent Acquisition Administration.
Thank you, Justin. And Charles, can you introduce yourself? Oh, you're muted.
Okay, was I clear?
You were muted, so we didn't quite hear you. So
okay, it's no problem. So I'll do it again. Good afternoon, all. My name is Charles Morris. I'm the bus operations manager for Central Region. Welcome, 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 all.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Morris. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started and talk a little bit about CTA. So Jamie, take it away.
Thank you, Lindsay. All right, so let's first talk about CTA's mission statement, which is quite simple. We deliver quality, affordable transit service that links people, jobs, and their communities. So here at the CTA, we have roughly 10,000 employees, both union and non-union positions. Here at the CTA, we serve the Chicago area as well as 35 area suburbs. We have 130 bus routes as well as 8 rail lines. Now, some of the locations here around the Chicago area will be headquarters, where myself and Justin are currently located. We have 7 bus garages. That's where some of the bus operators and the bus mechanics work out of. And then we have 9 rail lines. That's where some of the flaggers as well as the customer service assistants work out of, and many more locations around the Chicago area. Now we want to go a little bit into some of our career opportunities here at the CTA. Now this job fair is, we're mainly focusing on the CTA bus operator position. However, we have tons of different job opportunities within the CTA. So we're going to touch on those a little bit. So we have positions within the operations department, bus operations and rail operations. We have positions within vehicle maintenance, again, rail maintenance and bus maintenance, also in infrastructure, which is power and way, construction, engineering, and facility maintenance. We also have careers all the way from law all the way down to safety. So tons of room for growth. Just because you start out as a bus operator doesn't necessarily mean that you have to stick to that career path within the CTA. It is tons of room for growth and improvement and continuing your career in different departments within the CTA. So what do the CTA bus operators do? The bus operators operate the bus on an established route. They make sure they adhere to a predetermined schedule in a safe and efficient customer service oriented manner. Also, they are making sure that they are stopping at the scheduled stops. Now, some of the requirements for the bus operator position is to submit and pass a drug and alcohol test. The position requires you to be 21 years of age. You must have an acceptable driver's record, as well as a Class B CDL, which is a commercial driver's license, or a Class B COP, which is a commercial learner's permit. You'll need 2 endorsements, which is the passenger and air brake endorsement, and you'll also need to take the general knowledge assessment. And once we get towards the middle of the presentation, we'll talk a little bit more about the driver record as well as the CDL requirements. So the bus operator position starts out as a part-time opportunity. Bus operators typically work 32 hours per week. Now with seniority, this position can transition to a full-time position within maybe 6 to 12 months. Sometimes sooner, sometimes a little bit longer, but typically it's anywhere from like 6 to 12 months where you may transition into a full-time operator. The salary for the position is $23.44. This position, we will train you. It's 30 to 45 days of paid training. And the good thing about this position, although it's part-time, it does come with medical benefits. Now, just to go back to the employment status, CTA is, just keep in mind, the CTA is a 24-hour establishment, meaning that you can possibly work nights, weekends, holidays, or even overnight shifts. Now, where it says location assignments and shifts, starting out, operators will be assigned to whatever garage we need the most help at. Now, with seniority, you would eventually be able to pick your location or your garage, as well as the shifts that you are working. Now we're going to go a little bit deeper into our hiring process. So this is what the CTA careers page looked like. So if you visit our website and you're interested in applying to different positions, this is what it will look like. So you'll see the job titles on the left-hand side. In the middle, you'll see when the job was posted. Good thing about us, we do list the salary for the position. And then on the right-hand side, you'll see where you can click to apply for the position. Now, when you're applying to positions, please create a profile. If you are a current employee, then you would sign in, with your current credentials. If you're a new candidate, not a current employee, then you would register and create a new profile. Make sure when you are applying to different positions within the CTA that you're attaching a resume. That is something that we definitely look at, your resume. And if you're applying to multiple positions within the CTA, make sure that you update your resume. So if you're applying to bus operator as well as bus mechanic, make sure your resume speaks to whatever position that you are applying for. Now, if there are positions that you see that you have interest in and it's not currently on the website, you can always set up reminders so that way when the position is posted, then you'll be notified to go ahead and to submit an application for that particular position. Now, here are some questions that applicants like yourself, need to keep in mind and may ask yourself. So some things like, do I qualify for the position? Do I have years of experience, degree, or certification required for the position? Is my resume current? Do I need to upload a new one if I applied to CTA jobs in the past? Does my resume speak to the job that I am currently applying for? And if the position requires a driver's license, do I have a driver's license? And do I have a good driving record? All right, so with the bus operator position being a position that you are required to drive, we will need to review your motor vehicle report, also known as your driver's abstract. So your court purpose driver's abstract can be requested from the Secretary of State in person, or you can request it from the Secretary of State's website. The cost for the court purpose abstract is $12. Now, remember, if you are sending us a copy, if we request your driver's abstract and you are sending it in to us, be sure to include the supervision page. We also need that page, and make sure it is the court purpose driver's abstract, not the public abstract. We can't accept the public abstracts. Now, some things that we take a look at when we are reviewing your motor vehicle report or your driver's abstract are driving convictions or accidents, suspensions, supervisions, revocations, and DUI occurrences. And keep in mind that any financial related responsibilities, we exclude those. So we're not looking at those. But the other things that we named, the supervisions, revocations, DUIs, occurrences, those things we do consider when you are applying for a position that requires you to drive. Now, some of the positions within CTA does require testing. Bus operator is one of the positions that does require testing. So with this position, you will be required to take the online assessment at headquarters. It's basically a general knowledge and customer service test. Now, where you see it says practical basic mechanic skills, the bus operator doesn't require a practical exam. However, a position like the bus mechanic position, that does require a practical exam. And really, that's just a hands-on assessment, skill assessment. Now, some of the testing policies here, passing scores are valid for 3 years, and then failing scores, if you were to unfortunately fail your exam, you will have to wait a full year before you can retest. And just keep in mind, any position that does require testing, you must complete and successfully pass the test before you can move forward with the position. So if you successfully pass the assessment for the position, if you pass our review for the motor vehicle report, then you'll also be invited to do a virtual interview. Now, due to the pandemic, we no longer conduct interviews in person. We are now conducting interviews via Zoom. So what that looks like is you're interviewing with a recruiter like myself or another HR representative, as well as one of the department managers. The interviews typically take about 30 to 40 minutes. And what we focus on is your work history, your driving experience, and customer service experience. And here's a few interview tips. Again, we are doing interviews via Zoom. So some things that you want to keep in mind are making sure that you review the job description before you interview. So making sure that you meet the requirements for the position. Because it is via Zoom, make sure you log in maybe 5 to 10 minutes early. Test your connection, test your video and your audio, and making sure that that works properly before you begin your interview. Make sure you set up in a quiet place with minimum distractions. Wear appropriate clothing, interview clothing, at least from the waist up, and present yourself in a polite and professional way. Provide answers about what you have done that demonstrate your experience. So during the interview, we do use the STAR method. With those questions, we look for you to give us real life scenarios to walk us through the experience you have, either, whether it's school experience or work experience. All right, so we're going to touch a little bit more on the CDL requirements. So again, the CDL is the commercial driver's license. The COP is the commercial learner's permit. Now, for the position, the bus operator position, you will be required to pass the written assessment at the DMV, either the Elk Grove Village location or the South Holland location. Again, the cost is $60 to obtain your CDL or your permit. And then those 3 tests that you want to focus on or taking the written assessment for is general knowledge, the passenger endorsement, as well as the air brake endorsement. So those are a requirement for the position. You can actually interview for the position without having your CDL or your permit. it's highly recommended to have it already. But if you don't have it, we can still interview you without it. But if you are offered, extended a verbal offer for the position, you wouldn't be able to start work until you actually had those credentials. All right, so now we'll talk a little bit more about the pre-employment process. So again, if you pass your interview, you pass your testing, you pass the motor vehicle report review, and you are offered extended a verbal offer, then we will start the pre-employment process, which consists of the background, which is fingerprinting, FBI, as well as the Illinois State Police background reports, and then the medical, which consists of a DOT physical, HPE, which is a human performance evaluation, as well as a drug screening. And lastly, for the bus operator position, it also requires an online course and certification, which is called the fatigue and sleep awareness training. And this is just a quick timeline of the entire process. So first, you are applying for the position. This position testing is applicable for this position. Then you will interview. If you successfully pass the interview, then you are invited to start the onboarding process, which is medical and background. If you pass the physical and the background and you complete the fatigue training, then the next steps will be new employee orientation. And just a quick overview. So the pre-employment process, again, which is medical and background, can take anywhere from about 2 to 6 weeks. So some of the cool benefits at CTA, again, part-timers are eligible for medical benefits. Full-timers are eligible for both medical and dental benefits. CTA employees are able to ride this CTA buses and trains for free, as well as PACE for free. Also, CTA invests in their employees. So we have tons of support and training and professional development opportunities. So it's tons of room for growth within the CTA. Again, you don't, just because you start out as a part-time bus operator doesn't mean that there isn't a different room for growth and other growth opportunities within the company. And then we also have employee access special events such as the holiday train. I actually seen the holiday train ride go past me the other day, as well as the transit jamboree. So thank you guys for spending some time with me and letting me talk to you about some of our processes here within the CTA, and we hope to see an application from you soon. Lindsay, handing it back over to you.
All right, thank you so much, Jamie. Can you go to the next slide, please?
Sure.
All right, so now we're going to take a little bit of time to speak with our colleague, Charles Morris, from the Bus Operations Department, ask him a couple questions about what it's like to be in that team, on that team. So to begin with, Charles, why don't you tell us a little bit about your career at CTA? When did you start here? And then what other jobs have you held, or how has your career progressed during your time at CTA? Oh, you're muted again.
Okay, are we good?
We're good, thank you.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Sorry about that. So a little bit about my career here at the Authority. I actually started relatively young as a college student. So back in 93, so I'm telling my age here. But additionally, from there and upon graduating from college, I came to the Authority. But as I stated, I started as a college student, as a PTBO. So every summer, for 2 summers, I had employment with the Authority. Upon graduation, I knew it was a job where there were unlimited opportunities, definitely room for growth. It was definitely a place where there was diversity and just unlimited opportunities. And that was definitely something very important to me upon graduating from college. I've been with the Authority now for 26 years, so I have 23 full-time years, and I did 3 years as a part-time bus operator, which is what Hopefully you guys will choose to come on board. It's a wonderful opportunity. Like I said, again, unlimited opportunities, unlimited growth opportunities, the number of people, wonderful people that you can meet in this realm by far. I will be on here for hours if I were to tell you. There's definitely no regrets as far as all of the wonderful people that I have met in various departments, just getting to know from both a professional as well as a personal level. It's been by far just a great experience. So I challenge and or welcome anyone who's considering and coming on board. You definitely will not regret it.
All right, that's a fantastic plug for the authority and for this role. So, as a manager in the bus operations department, what is your team looking for in the bus operator candidates? And what are our hiring managers looking for when they're seeing people apply and then interview for this job?
So basically someone who's willing to grow, someone who's serious about success, someone who's willing to embrace as well as demonstrate our mission. As Jamie indicated in opening, we deliver on-time, clean, safe, and friendly service. We're linked to, the communities. Someone who can be a great representative of the authority by demonstrating on a day-to-day basis our mission statement, keeping that in mind and keeping that in alignment with what the VP as well as the president's ultimate goal is. It's safe service and customer service, because without those two very important components, there is no CTA. But as us all working together with the same understanding and sharing and or embracing the same mission, we can move the authority and continue to keep our motto as being the second largest transit agency. As it relates to a manager, and what we look for is development. We look for someone who definitely possesses communication skills, who can embrace safety, safe operations of buses, which of course, if brought on board, or if this is something that you're considering moving with the authority, we'll definitely make sure that you get all the necessary tools to be successful here. But part of that is definitely and solely based on you and your motivation, whatever your career path are, the opportunities are definitely here for you to take advantage of.
All right, thank you. And just a reminder to everybody too, if you have questions about anything that Charles talks about or anything that Jamie spoke about earlier, make sure to put those in that Q&A box. There are several questions waiting to be answered during our Q&A, so thank you for those of you who have already sent those in, but just definitely take advantage of that if there's something you're wondering about. But my next question for you, Charles, is what opportunities for advancement could somebody who starts as a bus operator have at CTA, or what are some of the other, fields or roles you've seen some of your colleagues go into after being a PTBO?
So again, just from my experience, starting as a college student and being a bus operations manager, acting in the role of general manager, senior manager, the opportunities are definitely here for you. Again, like I said, it's about coming in, learning and embracing what our mission is, learning the business, learning that we sell two services, customer service and safe service. And obviously, safe service would have a higher precedence over the customer service, but with both of them working hand in hand, the opportunities are definitely here. Jamie indicated earlier about, we post every week, taking advantage of those postings, depending on where it is that you see yourself within 3 to 5 years. CTA definitely, we can always appreciate hiring from within. So if your background is suited for a position that is posted, then we definitely welcome and or encourage one to apply. You never know. Again, as a manager, with my transition, going through the company, meeting all the wonderful people that I've met, going through my career, I definitely will welcome, again, anyone to come on board. We are here. We'll give you the tools necessary, whatever you want to do. We definitely have something or some kind of training in place, and the sky is the limit. So, I challenge you again. This is a wonderful place to work. It definitely will afford you a wonderful career path or benefits for your family and a better life, a better quality of life. And we're here, the CTA. You can't go wrong.
All right, thank you. What, in your opinion, are some of the top reasons that somebody should consider being a bus operator at CTA?
Unlimited growth opportunities, diversity. We definitely are, we promote from within. We welcome challenge, but we definitely going to give you everything that you need to meet whatever your goals are. So, like I said, again, we have training in place. You just won't go wrong with CTA. Being the second largest transit agency in North America, we didn't just get this title from just hiring anybody. We're selective with our process, and we want people, or we want employees that realize, hey, I work for the second largest transit agency, and understand that you have a purpose, and that, again, working together, we can achieve the vision that the president, the vice president have for CTA to continue to uphold and to maintain our image. And again, being the second transit agency, our role.
All right, thank you. What about, so everybody on here, we can assume is interested potentially in this role. So what advice would you give to somebody considering a career at CTA?
To come in with a vision, a purpose, and definitely a goal, whether that goal be a 3 to 5 year or a 5 to 10 year. Have a goal for where you see yourselves within 3 years, 5 years, and just achieve it. We are here to support. We are here to give you the tools that you will definitely need, but it's based on you, as I mentioned earlier, based on your tenacity, your drive, your vision to come in here and embrace our mission statement and achieve great results. And the sky, again, is the limit.
Awesome, thank you so much. And final question, what do you enjoy most about working at CTA?
That no 2 days are alike. There are some days that are slow. There are some days that are very, very fast paced. But the overall goal is, as long as you wake up with a vision. I know for me, I wake up with a purpose of knowing that I'm motivated to see or to attack whatever challenges that the day may present. However, at the end of the day, it's always a great pleasure to know that I've helped the authority or CTA to achieve that goal that much closer, or, and move forward to whatever the vision is that the president, the vice president, my direct boss, and what we have in place to set or to achieve or to continue to achieve great results.
All right, thank you so much. We appreciate, Charles, your time in answering those questions, and we're hoping you can stay a little bit longer for our general Q&A. So Jamie, you can go to the next slide. Okay, so we've got a couple questions in that have come in through the Q&A. Please use this time to keep sending those questions if you have them. Just a reminder, we really focused on bus operators during this fair, but we do have a lot of other opportunities, career opportunities listed on our website. So if there's another job that you were hoping to learn about, you can check out our website. We do have full job descriptions there of the different roles that we do offer. And so if you don't have an interest in bus operator, that's okay. There's lots of different opportunity. And just a reminder, we are going to take the questions that have come in that are a little bit more general and more applicable to more people on the call. So if you have a question about an application you submitted, or something in the hiring process, a test or something of that nature, you can send an email to our careers team at ctacareers@transitchicago.com, that email address at the bottom of the screen, and we will get those questions answered for you. But without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Justin, who's been monitoring our questions, and he's going to get some of those answered for you. So Justin, take it away.
All right, we'll do this in two parts. There are some questions regarding the general recruitment process and some things that I can answer, and then some things that I'm gonna push over to Mr. Morris, who has more in-depth information, obviously, than I would. So as far as I know, someone was asking about the resources, how do they study, how do they get prepared. and what to expect on the permitting exam. Now, I know mentioned before, but it seems to be a question that a few people who are answering. Again, we do accept a learner's permit initially coming into the organization, and then you do receive training through instruction that will help you to transition your license from a permit to a CDL. So that is a process that we've still maintained. So moving forward, you do not have to have your CDL, you just have to have your learner's permit. Now, if you already have your CDL, it does have to be in the state from which you reside in. We do have some out-of-state people asking about their current license situation. Now, if you're in, let's say, Indiana, and you have an Indiana CDL, as long as you're living in Indiana, you can maintain that CDL and move into our organization. Now, if you're coming from a little bit further and are gaining residence in Illinois, then you would effectively have to have your license changed to be current in the state and then get your permitting done here. That's something that we can't work around. So surrounding states, if you still live there, yes. If not, then you need to have your license reissued here. Now, as far as studying for the exam, on the CyberDrive Illinois site, the book is a PDF version and it is free. Or if you go to the DMV, they also issue a hard copy of the book, and that is also a free study material to you. There's also mobile apps that you can use that give practice tests. I think the primary one that we've seen a lot of people previously use is called DMV Genie, and that is DMVGENIE. That's not necessarily ours, but it is a tool that a lot of people have used to help them prepare for whatever applicable test that they would need. And again, we do need require a B-class license with passenger and air brake endorsements only. So just something to remember as you're going through that process. And I do have a few questions about people with current applications in process. So Lindsay, thank you for beating me to that point. But yes, again, CTA careers at transitchicago.com. And please give us enough information to be able to answer questions. So first name, last name, maybe date of application, position that you're applying for, and where you are in the process. If you have indeed started that process, that's important so that we can get you an accurate and quick response. Now, as far as people who have previously worked for the organization and are looking to reapply or potentially come back in, one of the things that we do initially is a rehire check. So we'll go through your previous work record and make sure that you are eligible for rehire, because it is important how you left the organization to see if potentially we can invite you back on. But if that is not an issue for you, what we'll do is after we go through our rehire process, and this all happens after the complete recruitment process. So you can still apply, be tested and qualified for the position, go through the interview process. At the end of this, we'll go through our rehire reemployment check, where we'll make sure that we are eligible to come back to the organization. And if so, we'll alert you as soon as that check is completed. So that's something that you can expect from that end. So, and as far as coming back to the organization, similar to the standard for testing, it does have to be at least 1 calendar year prior to you leaving the organization before you can come back. But I do encourage you to start the process because everybody's situation is different. So if you have not reapplied and you have worked with us previously, please at least just get the process started. Submit your application, get through your testing, and do any other necessary steps that you need to preemptively, and then we'll advise as to what the next steps need to be from there forward. So that's really the gist of what we have. I know a lot of people had questions about the driving abstract. Now, I'm not going to get into the details of what we consider as far as our standard for an acceptable driving record. I think we may have touched on this earlier, but if we haven't, we review everybody's independently. So what will happen is we'll request it from you. You'll get an email from us stating to give us specific information so that we can run a check independently. It used to be at cost to you, but now we do that on our own. And then we'll check prior to any other steps happen to make sure that your driving record is in good standing and is acceptable by our organization before asking you to do anything else moving forward. I think that's just about the gist of the questions that were asked that I could answer. I'm gonna push a couple your way now, Mr. Morris. Some people had questions in regards to our training program, as far as what to expect initially coming into the organization, and then how that looks as they transition from training into becoming an operator, route training and things like that. So hopefully you can give some more details in that area.
Sure, absolutely, Justin. So pretty much the training is geared towards about 30 days. And that training consists of both classroom training as well as field training. What I mean by field training, this will give you firsthand practical on working with the bus, learning the bus, how it operates. You'll be with an instructor who would go through some of the mechanics for the first portion of the day, and then you'll go out there and you'll demonstrate that skill set actually on the bus, what you will be hired to do. As it relates to the transitioning piece, typically upon being hired, you'll be sent to the garage. We have 7 garages system-wide. You'll be sent to your prospective garage with which you will be working out of. So you'll be working solely with the instruction department for the garage in which you will be assigned, learning the routes, getting familiar with the operation on the route, providing customer service, doing all of that. And that'll be an easy transition. You'll actually meet with the management team where he or she will pose some questions just to get you comfortable and to welcome you on board. If brought on board, again, there's a probationary period that you must undergo, or that you'll go through, where you'll work hand in hand with the manager at the garage to just make sure that transition is coming along very smooth, and that, of course, if you to let you know that you won't be left alone and that we're in it. We're definitely working with you to get beyond that hump, probation, and be successful here at the authority, because as you may or may not know, training is very costly. And we want to invest in you, meaning that we don't want to train you and later down the line, you say, oh, I don't want to be here at the authority, and you leave us. So we definitely believe in the coaching and the mentoring just to make sure that transition is very smooth and seamless. So that's pretty much a little bit about how the transitioning, how the training, what it would entail or encompass, and how you would just transition from out of training into your role as a part-time bus operator. But be advised and just know that we're definitely here to coach you along so that you're successful here at the authority.
Perfect. And that leans right into my next question, or the next question posed by the group here. As far as assignments, schedules, just what they can expect initially coming into the organization,
Sure.
And how they can stay compliant.
So basically, we definitely don't guarantee. So when you come in, you're hired you're going to work on the extra board. And pretty much the extra board is where any work that has not been filled by our full-time, whether it's because they're on vacation or they're off for whatever reason, you'll be assigned that work. So we would definitely require or let you know coming in that we definitely need someone who is flexible, because they are very well. We have runs. We are 365-day operations, 7 days a week. We never close. We're like the military. So we want you to know that there are chances where you might be working nights. There will be some times where you have to go home, get a little break, and come back. It just depends on the need and with the season, who's on vacation and all of that. And we'll filter in those open runs with obviously you. As time progresses, then you'll have get some seniority, which you heard that word earlier, and then there'll be a little bit more control. But initially coming in, we definitely need you to be flexible and open-minded to know that you're gonna work. You may come in at 1 o'clock and have to come back at 7. You may come in at 7 in the evening, which is 1900 because we use military time. And so it just varies, but it's definitely doable. And so we, just pretty much we have to run our business. So we need someone who definitely can embrace flexibility.
Awesome. I did have a couple of people inquiring about operator safety and what we're doing to ensure that we're taking care of our operators while they're out, while they're driving.
Absolutely. So safety, very good question, Justin, from the candidate. So as you may or may not know, all of our buses are equipped with cameras. They work. In addition, we have safety shields that is not optional, that is mandatory when operating that bus. You must have that safety shield on. And basically what it is a plexiglass that covers you. It kind of protects you. Obviously with COVID, that protection is definitely needed, just so that you don't come into contact with the customer. You can talk to them, but it's not a direct contact. As I stated, we have cameras. They work. We view cameras for any and all incidents that happens on our buses. We have CPD that works hand in hand with CTA, and they sometimes get on the bus and ride with you a couple of blocks. So we definitely protect our employees. We definitely don't, want you to think that you're out here alone. We definitely realize the environment that we're currently living in. A lot is going on, but we definitely view or put ourselves out there to protect you first. And that goes for any employee that works here. I mean, we're transit. Safety is definitely our number one goal. And so we do everything in our power to make sure that we have a safe working environment for all.
Great. Those are pretty much all the questions. The last couple of ones that came in here just a couple of minutes ago, in regards to hours and pay, I know this is something that we covered. Maybe this is just some people coming in on the back end. The starting pay is the pay. There is no different pay differential during training. What you see on the side is exactly what you will start at. And then moving forward, there are gradual increases that happen as you garner time with the organization. So it is a union position, so that will move forward. And somebody else did have a question about what union this was. We are ATU. It is a Union 241 position. And as far as the hours, as of right now, even though there are no guarantees in terms of exactly how many hours you work, we do typically work up to 32 hours, and then potentially more if you can get a trade agreement with another employee. But that's something that we cover during some of the latter steps in the process once you apply and interview and things like that. But that'll just about do it. Lindsay, I will hand it back over to you. Thank you, Mr. Morris.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
All right, perfect timing because we are just at 12:45. So Jamie, can you take us to the last slide? All right, so just a reminder to everybody to follow us on LinkedIn. If you are not there, we recommend that you get on there and follow Chicago Transit Authority. There you can learn more about our open positions. You can see a little bit about our people and our company culture, and learn more about different events that we have coming up as well. But I'm going to wrap us up, and I just want to thank Mr. Morris for joining us from Bus Operations and providing that great content and answer to our questions. Thank you to Jamie and Justin for being my HR colleagues and devoted to recruitment and specifically recruiting bus operators. If you have questions, again, actually, why don't we go back to the previous slide, Jamie, one more time, just so I can have the email in front of everybody. If you have questions about your application, go ahead and send an email to ctacareers@transitchicago.com. And if you're ready to start your application, you can click on that link, or not click on, but rather go to that website at the middle of the page, transitchicago.com/careers. That's where you can start an application, as JB mentioned, for this position or a different one if you're interested in something else, but that is the place to go. So go ahead and click, or not click on that link, go ahead and type that link in your browser, and we will be sending you an email with that link as well as a few others after this event. But thank you all for joining us today. We hope you learned something, and we hope to see many applications from many of you in the near future. So have a great rest of your day, everybody, and take care.